Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod Science classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see second part of this Panchayat Raj. So from this part, you can expect prelims question. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see what is given in this topic. So first, in first part, we already discussed about some introduction and various committees. So here in this lecture, we are going to start with this, what is the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992. So what is the significance of this act? So one thing I want to say here is you need to remember some important points. We are going to focus on this. So this 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, which added some things to our Indian Constitution. So first one is it added part 9. So what it added? It added part 9 to our Indian Constitution, and it also added articles. So those articles mainly include 243 to 243O, which mainly talks about this panchayats. And also this act also added 11th schedule, okay, 11th schedule of Indian Constitution. And what is this schedule contains? So this schedule mainly contains 29 functional items of panchayats, and here it mainly deals with article 243G. And one important thing here is, so this 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, which gave constitutional status to these Panchayat Raj institutions in India. So if we are talking about some provisions of this act, so some provisions mainly include voluntary and as well as some include compulsory and as well as voluntary. So if we are talking about compulsory or mandatory provisions, so the act have to be included in the state laws, which mainly creating new Panchayat Raj system. And if you are talking about voluntary, that means if you want you can do, if you don't want you cannot do. Okay, so these voluntary provisions mainly included regarding a discretion of state. If state want to come up, yes they can. If they don't want, no, we won't. So that's voluntary provisions of act mainly ensures right of the states to take local factors like geographical factors, political administrative factors and other factors into consideration. And this act will also signifies landmark in evolution of grassroots democratic institutions in our country. So this act mainly give its power for panchayats, okay, and this act mainly transferred representative democracy into participatory democracy. So these are the some important keywords that you need to write in your answer. So this 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, which mainly transferred representative democracy into participative democracy. If you're talking about some salient features of this act, so first one is Gram Sabha. So this act mainly provides for Gram Sabha. So this Gram Sabha, it is a foundation of this Panchayat Raj system. So who will be the members of this Gram Sabha? So this body mainly contains persons who are registered in electoral rolls from that village. Okay. So in this way we can see this village assembly. So it is a village assembly, that is Gram Sabha, which mainly contains registered voters in all registered voters of all who are present in that village level. And here this Gram Sabha may exercise such powers and as well as perform such functions at village level as legislature of the state determines. And this one is it contains a 3-tier system. That means we are having panchayats at village level, and we are having intermediate level and as well as at district level. So we are having 3-tier system in panchayats. So because of this act, it brought uniformity in structure of panchayat across our country. So if you are talking about elections of members and as well as chairpersons of all the members of panchayat in village, we can see these members, they will be elected directly by the people. Further, we can talk about chairperson of panchayats and as well as intermediate and district levels. So those chairpersons will be elected indirectly. If we're talking about reservation of seats, so this act mainly provides for reservation of seats, especially for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, etc. at panchayat level, and also even reservation for women. Okay, reservation for women is also talked by this act. An act also provides reservation of not less than 1/3 of total number of seats for women. And next one is this act also says that not less than 1/3 of total members of offices of chairpersons in panchayat at each level shall be reserved for women. So at every level, at village level, intermediate level and at district level, we need to go for reservation of seats for women. And if you are talking about duration of panchayats, so this act mainly provides for 5-year tenure of office of panchayats. So if it is mainly dissolved, means if there is also chance like, so this so and so panchayat can be dissolved before completion of this 5 years of term. So in that time, what can be done? So before expiry of duration, here we need to go for elections, and if case is any dissolution before the expiry of period of 6 months from the date of dissolution, so we need to go for conducting fresh elections. And if you are talking about disqualifications under this act, so person shall be disqualified for being chosen as for being a member of parliament whenever there is anything which mainly said disqualified under any law for the time being in force for the purpose of elections to legislature of state concerned. And this one is under any law which mainly made by state legislature. However, no person shall be disqualified on the ground that he is less than 25 years. Here he need to attain just 21 years but not 25 years. And if you are talking about role of state election commissioner, so this state election commission will superintend, will direct, and also it will control the preparation of electoral polls and also helps to conduct of all elections to the panchayats. And next one is finance commission. So governor of state, they shall after 5 years they can constitute a finance commission. So this finance commission mainly reviews the position of panchayats. So he can, that is financial commission can make recommendations to governor regarding principles that should govern, and as well as the distribution of taxes between the states and as well as panchayats, distribution of taxes, duties, tolls and fees that may be assigned to panchayats, and even regarding grant and aid to panchayats from consolidated fund of the state. And here it also can make the measures needed to improve financial position of the country. And next one is any other matters referred to it by governor in interest of sound finance and as well as panchayats. And next one is audit and account. So state legislature may make provisions with respect to maintenance of accounts. So it need to maintain accounts. So whenever we are making accounts and whenever we are going for regular auditing, that will be helpful mainly for maintaining accountability and transparency in the system. And if you are talking about exempted states and as well as areas, so the act does not apply to states of Nagaland, Meghalaya, Mizoram and also some certain areas. So this is one important fact. And here this mainly includes the scheduled areas and as well as tribal areas in the states. The hill areas of Manipur for which district councils exist. So here these areas mainly include the scheduled areas and as well as tribal areas in the state, they will be excluded. And not only this, hilly areas of Manipur with district councils are also excluded. And Darjeeling districts of West Bengal, so here we have this Darjeeling Murkha Hill councils. So because of this there is no need of panchayats here. And however, Parliament may extend the provisions of this Part 9 to scheduled areas and as well as other tribal areas. They may be subjected to exceptions, okay, which will be given by Parliament. And next one is Parliament has enacted provisions of Panchayat Extension and Scheduled Areas Act of 1996. So it is also called as PISA Act. So PISA Act mainly came up enacted by Parliament mainly to replace or mainly to extend this panchayats to other areas which are mainly restricted here. And this is popularly known as PISA Act or Extension Act. So in this lecture, we mainly discussed about what are the salient features of the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992. Okay, so here we studied about discussion and some salient features like Gram Sabha, 3-tier system, reservation of seats for women and as well as economically, socially backward classes. And next one is duration of panchayats, what is the disqualification, and people how they will attract under disqualification, and as well as we studied about role of State Election Commission, and also we studied about role of Finance Commission, and also we studied about what is the audit of accounts, and also finally exempted states and as well as areas under this act, and later on we came up with this PISA. So in next lecture we are going to study about this PISA Act. Don't worry about that. So by this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.